Hello. Yes.
How old is she?
She's almost 40.
Whoa.
Hello. How are you? Holly, want a cracker? An Amazon. This is what's so special. It's okay. It's okay. No. She doesn't like to be touched. Hello. Trick or treat?
She has a blue.
Yeah.
So, in the future, she can actually
No, it's very typical of the birds from that part of the range. These birds came from Honduras, and they have that blue one. Hello. Hi. How are you? I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I love you too. She says hundreds of words.
ما شاء الله تبارك الله. طبعا هذا الفلوس. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. سوداء كمان. هذا الفلوسات. ما شاء الله. أبغى إن شاء الله شنو على كده نصور إحنا مرة ثانية عشان فيديو هو يأكلهم كده.
So I would like to start off with salam. These guys are visiting my house, and right now we're in one of the two baby rooms. This particular baby room has babies that are incubator hatched. It is largely empty because this is the start of the breeding season. It is very early. If you come 3 months from now, you can't hear yourself. So I'm going to prepare formula, and what I do is I add peanut butter to it, and we are eating primarily with very small babies. So we're adding, we need to boost the fat, and we are using natural peanut butter. So it is, it has unfortunately a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, but you can't get a lot of peanut butter unless it's very, unless it has those two components. So what I wanted to go through was some rearing so that you can see how we do things. There is an old American saying that there is more than one way to skin a cat, meaning that there is more than one principle to everything. We do what works for us, what has been successful during 40 years. I have no problem making changes. I have no problem incorporating new techniques. I have no problem modifying what we do if it's for the good of the bird. So we have peanut butter, we agitate it in water that's been heated in a microwave. And the important part is you need the peanut butter to dissolve. People say you could add fat and achieve the fat content that you want. We can do that. The fat will raise to the surface. The peanut butter, as you see, stays in solution. To that, we then add the formula. Many people make a mistake of adding formula to cold water and then heat it. It becomes lumpy. So what we do is we agitate it. We make sure that it's dissolving. And then we bring up more depending on what it is that we need. I check, and then we use a thermometer. We want to get to 40 degrees Celsius. 40 degrees Celsius is right. Good. And it's perfect. You know, why do I use this paper that's so difficult to work with? This paper has no acid, so it doesn't burn the babies. I work in the fuel industry, and it's a paper that's widely used because it has a low acidic content, or virtually no acid. So when we start with babies, we clean, clean, and clean. One of the most important components in raising baby parrots is hygiene. If you do not have hygiene, you will not be successful. So, you've got lots of different tools. These are teat catheters. These are for cattle. For the tit, you insert it to be able to inject compounds. They work great on baby parrots. They're soft and they do the job. So we always wet the tip of the rubber stopper so that it flows, and we move the formula. We want to make sure that it's a little. So, as I said, we're at the beginning of the season, so we may not have a lot of species. Normally I feed them in the tub before I change, but for this purpose, so all we're going to do is just fill up. We pick them up by the head and the body because I don't want to pick up the body and have them regurgitate. So we normally, this is how we do it. This is the baby Amazon and a baby conure. Right now we're feeding 20 species. So if we pick them up by the body, they will often push their heads down and then they aspirate. So we treat different species differently. Kites, Pionides, aspirate. They flip themselves on their backs. So we have cameras. You can see there's a camera up there. And that camera records everything that goes on here. And it records everything that goes on here, not so that I can spy on the workers to make sure that they're doing their job, but so that I can learn mistakes. Mistakes, if they're improved, are not a mistake. They're a lesson. So what I want to do is I want to learn. You see what they do? So if you keep them in a bowl, they flip on their backs and they aspirate. We want to keep them so they can't flip on their backs in these little cups. And we do this for 5 days. It is not easy because you've got to change the paper every feeding. That was from 2 hours ago. So,
may I throw up to that?
yes, please. So we're constantly feeding. Some new ones just hatched. And the new ones that hatch haven't eaten before. He hatched in an incubator. So we're going to treat him with a spoon the first time. We want him to understand, to get the flavor of food. See the little beak moving? And then the little crop is full. So back he goes into the little cup. And we keep 3 cups to a bowl. That keeps them from rolling over. The babies are kept at 36.6 degrees. So here is a Myers parrot. So again, we feed them there. We transfer over, we clean. This is a baby yellow-naped Amazon. He's clearly hungry. We feed, we transfer over, we clean. It's a repetitive process that goes on many times a day. We feed chicks every 2 hours during the day from 6 a.m. to about 11 p.m. And I stop feeding whenever I get tired. This is a Bonaire conure. It's a relatively rare species that we breed. We try to keep 2 chicks together. Mentally, they do better. This is a blue-throated conure, a species that's quite rare in the U.S. We probably do better with them than anybody else. These are spectacular parakeets. You can see they readily swallow the tube. We fill, we feed. We only clean them, and we try to use our fingers to be gentle if we get food on them. Another little conure. So it's clean, clean, clean. We want to make sure that the babies are very clean. We rear about 300 of our own chicks a year. And then I have an associate for whom we also rear chicks. So on a given year, the people that help me in the baby room have experience with about 600 parrots. This is a blue-throated, a blue-headed macaw. This is a blue-throated macaw. So we keep 2 chicks together. That warmth, that contact is very important. We want to make sure that they feel the warmth of another bird like they would with their parents. These are rose-breasted cockatoos, and you can tell they're rose-breasted, obviously by the pink down. They have a very pink down, but also because they are literally a cockatoo. A cockatiel. They defecate just like cockatiels, which is they move to the edge of the bowl and then they defecate. So just by looking at that, I would be able to tell that it's a rose-breasted cockatiel. This is a hawk-headed parrot, Gyroptius, and you can tell because they have a bubble at the back of the head and a multicolored beak. And they sound something like a bird that we have in the southwest of the U.S. called a roadrunner. This is a black-headed kite. When I travel and I visit breeders and I see hand rearing, I usually find problems because hygiene is the thing. If you fail to maintain a high level of hygiene, you will not be successful. It is that clear. This room, as you can see, is tiled. We have a tiled up 6 inches so that they can bring in a hose and hose this down. We paint the walls every day. Golden conure. We paint the walls every year, sorry. We wash the walls daily. We wash the incubators daily. I'm a Virgo, and I am very anal about hygiene. I have no problem letting an employee go if they don't maintain the hygiene that I want. These bowls get placed on this table. They then go and get washed and disinfected. And when you disinfect, you need to understand that there is a process, and The process starts with soap water because there is organic matter, and organic matter tends to affect the ability of a disinfectant to work. So we wash with soap water, and then we disinfect in bleach, and then we rinse and rinse and rinse, and then we put it out in the sun. I want to make sure that things are very clean. This is a Goffin's cockatoo. It hatched a minute ago. I brought it right before we started to film. So again, it's his first meal. How quickly do we feed after they hatch? Instantly. There is this strong belief in bird keeping that you wait 6 hours, 4 hours, giving lactated ringers, giving electrolytes. I don't subscribe to that, and I don't subscribe to that for a simple reason. The parents don't do it. The parents feed their chicks almost instantly, and I want to do what the parents do. As I was saying, we rear kites like this, and the reason that I found this out was I videotaped, and we were losing baby kites in 2 days, 3 days, without any reason. We do histopathology, we do necropsies on babies. We couldn't figure out why, until I started looking at the videos. And I realized that they would throw themselves on their back, and they would act for it. So what I did was I started using these little espresso coffee cups until they're about 5 days old. And some grow faster than others, some spend longer than others, and that has solved the solution. That has solved the problem. It is clearly the solution to rearing kites. So, by about 3 to 5 days, many stop throwing themselves on their back. And then we just keep them like this so they can't roll, because they tend to roll. These are roast fed, and you can tell because the way they defecate. So all we do is just grab them. We touch the beak to stimulate feeding. So you see how you stimulate feeding? So the bird knows food's coming. And then we move them. So I'll show you how we do it. Let me do it this way. So we've got a baby. We want to touch the beak. You start to feed. And then, so the baby knows food's coming. We fill it up. And then it's over. Simple. We always want to let a baby know that food is coming. You just don't start to feed unless they're ready. They've got to be prepared. We don't allow the crop to empty during the day. There's people that say, oh, the crop must empty because they develop sauerkraut. I'm sorry. If they develop sauerkraut, it is because there has been a management flaw. Maybe hawk-headed parrot. Like I said, they sound like road runners. So, why did I use a blunt nose gavage needle? Hawkheads are very aggressive feeders like macaws. And if you use this, you can puncture the crop wall with this. With this, you can't. It's rounded. A macaw baby. This is a green wing. So we feed tight, just hatch. I wash my hands in soapy water. I disinfect. We don't want to use hand sanitizers because they have alcohol and the alcohol can burn the baby. We want to be able to use something that is not going to blemish a very sensitive skin. So hand sanitizers, we do have them here. And basically it's for the cleaning girl when she's cleaning before she goes to the next room so that she can disinfect herself. This is a Myers parrot and a baby kite. Now you're going to ask me, why does one bird have a blue spot? And there's a reason for that. We culture the baby. I'll come in here and we'll take a sample from the mouth to make sure there's no bacteria there. We mark the chick that we do that from so that we know who was the guinea pig that provided the sample. We used to use different feeding syringes for different incubators. And we now test because we've realized that if one baby has something, everybody will have it. Simply because there's contact, there's all of that. So we automatically culture. We try to fill an incubator before we fill the next. So there is some order to it. All of these things are dumped in here in a closely sealed tank, and then they get disinfected. So I'm not quite done yet. I still have a few more babies, and then we go to the second room. So babies in this room have all been incubator hatched, meaning that the eggs were taken from the parents at some stage, and then they have been hatched in our incubator room, and they've been brought here for rearing. Yes, yes. We don't mix chicks that were parent reared with chicks that were incubator hatched. You're asking for problems. Here is a blue-eyed cockatoo and a Moluccan cockatoo. Again, hygiene, it is vital. If you don't have good hygiene, you will not be successful. I often visit breeders. Nothing shocks me more than looking at the person's hand and seeing them full of dirt. It's very difficult to practice hygiene if your fingernails are dirty. I scrub with a nail brush. I work in the yard. I actively work with my birds. I know that many people say, oh, you have a very successful collection. You breed a lot of birds. You have people do everything for you. I have workers, but I do everything. I don't expect them to do everything. I want to build cages. I want to clean cages. I want my birds to know that I am there for them. Because if the birds know that I am there for them, and there is a problem, they're going to let me know. And they're going to let me know with their actions. The best lesson that I ever had in aviculture was from an American Amazon breeder who was a unique person. He was a priest. And he said, your parents talk to you. If you are smart, you will listen to them. That was 1979. I was 19 years old. That's crazy. He's crazy. The birds don't talk to me. Today, I understand he was right. They do talk to me. They don't use words, but they use sounds, they use behaviors. They tell me that there is a problem. A rose-crested cockroach. So when you notice, if I pull up, I slowly discharge a little bit of food in the mouth so that they have the taste of it. This is a Senegal parrot and a green-winged macaw. So you don't have to have the same species together. You can mix species. The importance is to have more than one chicken in a tub. If some have one, they're in the process of waiting for a mate, a friend to join them. We have a lot of babies. I know they were just filming the room temperature. We keep it at 78. I'm not quite sure what it is in Celsius. That's easy enough to convert. And we need a stable environment because that maximizes the efficiency of our incubators and our brewers. So I try to have something that's 78 degrees. And by the way, there's different sizes. Oops. So I use different sizes for different chicks. I created a mess there, that's fine. That will be cleaned up. Thank you. You don't want to break the jaw of a baby, forcing something that big. Alright, so I keep stressing hygiene. So we use this tray, and why do we use the tray? Because little babies tend to jump. And if they jump and they hit the ground, they will splatter and die. So what we do is we feed them on this thing. If they jump, they can't get out. We describe everything. If a bottle has disinfectant, it states it. If a bottle has regular water, we know that it has regular water. We want to make sure that there is no mistake with somebody using the wrong thing to hurt or harm the baby. So we wipe, and then this gets washed and dried. So we're going to go ahead. I don't take all these feeding instruments with me. We're going to wipe it down. We want to make sure that it is clean. If you don't practice hygiene, and I cannot stress it enough, you will have problems. Problems in baby birds are common. They become very aggressive if you don't keep everything clean. So we use a disinfectant, we wipe it down. Obviously there's inorganic matter, baby food on there. So what do? We wipe it down and wipe it down once more with a disinfectant. Everything is washed again in the morning and after every feed. So I spray it. You're actually very privileged because I never have people come in here. Usually I keep the baby room off limits simply because there's always the risk of somebody bringing in a disease. So I say we draw the door. We let them look, we open the door, we let them look in, but we keep them out. So it will be something that will be exclusively to you guys, that you get to see a little bit of what we do inside the room. We're going to go into the second room, which are the babies that were parent hatch. We always feed incubator hatch first, then parent hatch. Why? Because parents tend to pass along certain pathogens. Macaws are notorious for eating their dry droppings to absorb B vitamins and convey them to the chicks. Those chicks have certain bacterial platform. These do not. These were incubator hatch. We want to be able to control what's here. We don't want any problems. So we are in my second hand rearing room. This room has chicks that were hatched under the parents, and they were fed for any given time by the parents, which means days to weeks. We don't mix them because these chicks have a different bacterial platform. I can't stress that enough. You don't want to mix chicks that were parent reared with incubator hatch. So these chicks are kept in here. We do this room second. In cleaning, this room gets done second, meaning that we feed the chicks that were incubator hatch first, and then those that were parent reared. We eliminate a lot of diseases. I understand a lot of you may not have this ability, may not have 2 rooms. And I understand that can be a problem. So what we do in that context is I would recommend separate incubators, preferably in the second room. And feeding the incubator hatch first, and then the parent reared. Him I had already changed the tub on while we were changing batteries. So that's why he doesn't go in the new tub. So we feed them, I look at them, I want a chick that is responsive. I want to look at the skin color real quick when I'm feeding. I want to make sure they're not dehydrated. They're not agonizing. The chicken goes, it's telling me it has a problem. The incubators have different temperatures, and the different temperatures are used for chicks of different ages. This is a baby scarlet macaw, black-headed kite. So feed the macaw first because he tends to be an aggressive feeder, and then I'll add the kite and feed the kite. Again, we keep the crop full or with food in it. If you see, that crop has some food in it from the last feeding. We never let the crop fully empty. Some crops have more, some have less, but they have food in them. I don't want that crop to empty. These are Triton cockatoos. When a baby is well fed, when you have enough fat in their diet, they don't cry all day. I often visit baby rooms and I'm shocked at the screaming, the loud noise. You can't hear yourself think. And the reason you can't hear yourself think is because the babies are screaming for food. They're hungry, they're starving. That's not a good sign. That's telling me that there is a problem. This particular ringneck belongs to a friend, and the parents broke the leg. So we need to wait for him to get a little bit older, and then what they will do is they will go in, break the leg, and pin it. It's his first bird that he's bred. He decided he wanted to become an aviculturist. And the parents were too inexperienced, and they made a mistake. They injured the chick. So tubs come in different sizes, and unless you size it right, they don't fit. So we have different tubs. Now, as they get older, we put them in tubs. These are your baby. You collect this and took them from the parents because the parents were notorious for feeding not only the baby's feet, but also the body. So they would regurgitate food all over the babies. It's unusual to have 3 chicks in a clutch. This particular pair does that. 1 female and 2 males, also very peculiar. So they've got food because the parents would feed them. And feed the body, the head, the foot, everything. They weren't discriminating. They would just feed the baby anywhere they could. Eclectus are very beautiful, but they're not very smart. That's just classic. These little baby flannels to keep them warm. These babies are transitioning from heated incubator to room temperature. So for the first few days, we keep them in these tubs with a cover. Baby pike, 2 red sun conures, and a golden conure. When you rear species like golden conures, it is very important that you provide some roughage in the formula, or they will get yeast very easy. Again, we cover them, and then slowly, so we do things Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. So next Monday, we go this way. Wednesday, we do that. Friday, we do that. The next Monday, we take it off. So we're slowly exposing the chicks to room temperature. You just don't take a chick from a warm incubator and put them out at room temperature. These are some macaws. When we pick up the baby macaws, obviously they have a lot of body weight. So when we feed baby macaws, you don't use this because they pump. And if they pump, you will puncture the esophagus. We use this. And the process is quite simple. And I think it's very important for you to video how I'm grasping them. Because if you don't video this, you will end up with a deformed upper mandible. So look at what I'm doing. I am aligning I'm obviously feeding him, but I'm aligning the beak so that the beak does not push to one side when I feed. Okay. The beak has to be aligned. So what I'm doing is, I'm doing this. I'm holding it so that it does not misalign. Yes, I know, you're grumpy. Central American Scarlets. These are the ones that everybody wants with a lot of yellow in the wings.
And the coloring books.
Yeah. That's the bird everybody wants. He's raising his head. Again, so you look and you twist the tub. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to align the beak. If you look here, it's aligned. Otherwise it would do this. So what I'm doing is I'm aligning it. Very important, otherwise you will have a deformed upper mandible. They pump hard, very easy to misalign that upper mandible. Yes, you're hungry, I see that. Spit it out. So you see he's already pumping. He's got a piece of wood in there. I don't want that piece of wood to go. So again, we align. Baby's fed, he's nice, the mouth is clean. So when the feathers come out, he'll have a big wide yellow band with a lot of blue.